Hello everyone, welcome again to our channel. It's been a long time since I presented my recipes. Today I'm going to make a orange cake. I'll use Pixie Oranges. I'll start measuring my flour. I'm using all-purpose flour. I've used 2 cups of flour as I'm measuring. And then I put 1 tablespoon of baking powder. Then I put in my cardamom. I use at least half a tablespoon or 1 teaspoon. And then I'll use my cinnamon, a teaspoon of it. On my sieve, I'll sieve off the dry ingredients just to bring in air. After sieving, I'll continue with the wet ingredients. And put them aside. I'll squeeze the Pixie Oranges. I discovered this recipe some time back when I was baking. I realized that it gave my cake a very nice taste. It was so unique, especially when it mixes up with the vanilla. It gives it another very good taste and scent. I'll just use my hands to squeeze out the juice. You can see how the Pixie Orange is so juicy. If you have other equipments to squeeze out the juice, you can use maybe a lemon squeezer or an orange squeezer, but I prefer to squeeze it out because it's not so hard for me. Baking is one of my passion. I love baking. I love making people smile. And I remember during Corona time, I sold. I used to bake for commercial purposes, but I lost it in the middle. But I'm sure I'll come back to it. So as you can see aside, I have my baking tin, which I'll use to bake my cake. I'll wipe it out and align it with a baking paper, which I just buy from supermarket. And I'll use my margarine to align the paper so that it sticks, so that it does not get off the pan. So when I do that, I'll start mixing my wet ingredients. I'm using margarine, at least 250 grams of it. I'll put it in my mixing bowl. And guys, remember, I've already heated up my oven at 200 degrees. Yeah, before you do that, kindly heat up your oven at least for 10 minutes. So, and then I'll use at least 250 grams of sugar, but here I've used less because I don't like too much sugar in my cake. Then I'll use a whisk to whisk out the margarine and the sugar until it's fluffy. If you do not have a whisk, you can use a spatula or a mwiko or a spoon. Just use what you have. I remember when I started baking, I didn't have the mixer, so I used to use a mwiko, and my cake was still coming out perfect. Then I continue whisking. And by the way, guys, I learned baking from YouTube. I did not go for any lessons. I just did lessons from YouTube, and at least I perfected my baking through YouTube. And then I'll continue with my eggs. I'll use 2 eggs. Initially I was supposed to use 3, but my head had already told me that I had 3 eggs, but I only had 2. So I'll just use the 2, and it worked perfectly. So depending on your ingredients, you can use 2 to 3 eggs, and also your egg size matters. Then I'll whisk them one by one until the eggs and the other ingredients mix so well. And I'll make sure it's also fluffy. Then I'll mix in my vanilla essence. I'll use at least 1.5 teaspoon of the same. And mix it. After that, I'll add in my Pixie orange juice, little by little. And also check in on the mixture using a spatula on the side to make sure everything is mixed up well. Then I'll add in the flour and the other dry ingredients that I had prepared earlier, little by little. And at this stage I'll use my spatula to mix it slowly. Some prefer using the mixer still, but I use a spatula because I like gauging what I'm doing slowly by slowly, and I make sure that I do not overmix the ingredients. You can see I have milk on the side. I'm going to use at least a cup of it, but as you can also see, as I continue mixing my flour, the wet ingredients are still enough, so I'll be careful to add milk little by little until I get the consistency that I want. If you do not have the Pixie oranges, you can use the normal orange. You can also use lemon depending on the taste that you want. So you're not only limited to using the Pixie oranges. That is my last flour. I'll continue adding the milk and mix until it smoothens up. As you can see, guys, the consistency is coming out well. I'll continue mixing until I get the right consistency. So I'll pour in my milk and make sure that I do not have the small balls that you can see from afar. What I would like to perfect in my baking is on icing, and if I perfect on that, I think I'll be good to go. I'll continue watching out for more videos on icing cakes, and also consider doing it commercially, just continuing to add on to my income. If you're interested on the same, you can also as well share with me how you do your icing, or if you're already perfect with it, you can share on how you do it, so I can also learn from you. That is my last drop of milk. So at this time I'll mix it well and make sure that it goes to the consistency that I want. As you can see on the side, I have my baking tin ready, and our cake mixture is coming out well. You can see the perfect consistency that I was talking about. And now it's ready. I'm going to separate the mixture into 2 tins so that it does not crowd, or rather it does not have a hard time to bake well. And the reason why I love using spatula, it's because it is able to scrap off everything. You can see all the mixture, able to scrap it from bottom up. There is our tin. So I'll pour in the mixture to at least half of the tin. And spread the mixture or the batter. Then I'll use a round tin to pour in the remaining batter. And you can see how my spatula works wonders. It scraps off everything. Not almost everything, but at least you don't feel like you've wasted your butter. Then at this point, I'll take my butter to my oven. Remember, I had heated up to 200 degrees in 10 minutes. So I'll switch back the temperature to 180 degrees Celsius, and then my time will be 40 to 50 minutes, and I'll be checking on my cake using a knife or a toothpick to make sure it is well cooked. Kindly make sure that your oven also heats up bottom and also on top of your or rather it heats up bottom up. Okay, then I check on my cake. There it is well cooked. Thank you for watching. Kindly subscribe to our channel.
Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me